Alright, there's two distinct things I want to cover in this video, and they're not really the same thing, honestly. They're two completely separate situations. You probably already know about both of them, especially if you watch the channel. One of them being how Pokimane kind of went after a sponsor of a smaller YouTuber because she didn't like the video topic and things like that. Kind of caused a lot of controversy and backlash against her, and it's been kind of building up over time. But then also the fact that she opened up porn on her browser during one of her streams, which is something that, you know, people get banned for all the time, right? Like, you get banned for accidental nudity. You get banned for things like that. You know, you can't show that stuff on Twitch, or you're not supposed to at least. But I mean, when it comes down to Pokimane, she got away with it, and that's kind of what I want to preface this video with. And I also do want to say before I go any further, I don't think Pokimane deserved to be banned for what happened. I just don't like the double standard that has been set and how it's okay for someone like Pokimane to do it, but if a smaller streamer does it, then all of a sudden, you know, then it's a problem. When it comes down to those kinds of things, what I really think is, well, you know what, if someone else is going to get banned for it, then big streamers should be banned for it too. While personally I don't think anyone should be banned for it, I just think that everyone should be held to the same standards. Everyone should be accountable in the same ways, and it shouldn't just be this thing where, you know, if I got on there tomorrow and I streamed and accidentally showed, you know, one of the hubs up on the tab, I would be suspended or banned or whatever, but then Pokimane can do it and nothing happens. So Pokimane ended up getting an official warning from Twitch, which basically says that, hey, if you do this again, then you're subject to potentially be suspended or punished in some way. So it wasn't like Twitch just kind of didn't look at it at all and didn't say anything about it at all. I mean, they did reply, they did give her the warning and everything, which, you know, whatever. I think that's realistically the best punishment they should get, especially considering the context of what happened. It wasn't like she purposefully did anything. It wasn't like she just, like, I don't know, I guess, typed it into the browser right there and then just was looking through the videos and like, hey, this is a good one to watch. She accidentally dragged the tab up onto her stream. It happens, you know, there's mistakes and stuff that happen on live streams. Pretty hard to, you know, be perfect at it and things like that, but obviously that double standard does exist, and it's something that people have been shitting on Twitch for vehemently for years now. The fact that there's this double standard that people can just get away with whatever they want on the platform, so long as they're a big streamer, right? You know, if they've got hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, then they can do essentially whatever they want with no real consequences, while Joe Schmo, who only has 3,000 followers, does the same thing, and a completely different irrational punishment is brought down upon them for those kinds of things. Now, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, it's just an odd situation, right? Like, I don't think anyone really expected this whole thing to happen. I don't think Pokimane expected any of this to happen. It's just been different, you know? But it is another example of Twitch showing that there is a double standard on the website. There are people who have been banned, or I should say suspended, from Twitch for accidental nudity and things like that, and then you have situations like this. I get it, right? And I agree with that. I don't think that that's right. I don't think that's an okay or acceptable thing to do. So that's something that I think should have been addressed to begin with. Now, in terms of the whole sponsor thing that I'm talking about, It's a Gundam made a video. It's a YouTuber who, you know, makes content that doesn't really get monetized here on YouTube. The best shot for Gundam to make any profit off of videos is to have a sponsor, which is how a lot of YouTubers make their income at this point. They get a direct sponsor for the video, and that's how they kind of work things out. But, well, Gundam made a video about Pokimane. Well, not even necessarily about Pokimane, but more or less about the people who were claiming to basically have been going homeless and bankrupt and whatnot to give her donations and stuff like that. And it's something, once again, that I covered as well. But Pokimane saw his video and did not like it because, well, he had a Ridge Wallet sponsor in his video. And that's not really the reason she didn't like it. She obviously didn't like it because it was kind of shitting on her and her viewership and whatnot. But essentially, she kind of directly called out the sponsor of the video. She tried to open up the website and it didn't load within a half second, so it was apparently so ass and whatnot, and she even openly said that if they ever email her, quote-unquote, it's on site. So she essentially just called out the sponsor of this YouTuber who already doesn't get monetized, or if he does, it's very scarcely, which could have very well ended his money, you know? It fucked up his money, possibly, you know? You can't just be doing things like that. I don't think sponsor shaming is a good thing to be doing to people out here. I mean, this is a issue already, because, like, we're talking about a global pandemic. Money's already kind of hard to come by for a lot of people. YouTubers, they work at home, you know what I'm saying? It just isn't right to try and mess with people's money in that way, or even if she didn't intentionally mean, I guess, to, like, try and end the sponsorship with this guy or whatever, the way she went about it was very shitty, and it was just not right. Now, while Pokimane was almost universally criticized for this act, especially by other creators on the internet, one YouTuber has come out and essentially defended Pokimane for what she did, and Gundam ended up tweeting about this, and he said, "Remember folks, facts matter, just not when it comes to me." And it's a 45-second clip of Philip DeFranco doing his show in which he covers the whole subject, and he does a very shitty job of doing it, and this is kind of what I think is wrong with this kind of situation. You don't really defend people for doing this shit, in my opinion. Now, Philip doesn't have to worry about this kind of situation, right? If he lost all of his sponsors tomorrow for the Philip DeFranco show, he's completely fucking okay, because he's got a Patreon with tens of thousands of dollars coming in every single month from his supporters and whatnot, so it's not like he's got to worry. Philip's only a multi-millionaire. So I think that this kind of shit, you know, kind of defending it in the way that he did, if not directly coming out and saying what she did was okay, but I guess kind of dancing around the bush, I think is very fucked up. Now, go ahead and take a look.
In the news. Well, for a number of reasons. One, more recently, she accidentally showed porn on her stream. That's a whole other story, but pertaining to this story, there was a video that she was not a fan of, a video that took aim at her that she described as essentially 20 minutes of just calling her a thought, and she said this about the brand.
If I ever see you in my inbox, on site. Like, no company should do that just about ever. Oh, is this a video where some random dude behind a VR machine calls a girl a thought for 20 minutes? Really want to put my logo on that one.
Now, following that, the other creators said because of this, they've now lost another deal. As far as if that part's true, I don't know, but it still kind of plays to the point and debate of what do you think about people going after sponsors? And kind of expanding on that, we've seen other creators not.
Well, see, the thing about that is, he openly says that, well, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he's actually lost other sponsorship deals or anything. I don't know that. But at the same time, he's wearing a fucking Facts Matter shirt, okay? So facts matter a lot to Philip, according to him. I mean, he runs a news network, according to himself. The whole point of him having his Patreon, where all these people are giving him money, is so that he could, quote-unquote, expand the whole thing, right? But then when it comes down to getting the fucking very basic facts of this story together and, like, actually making a coherent point either for or against it, he just doesn't want to do that. He couldn't have been fucked, you know? Facts matter so much, but hey, when it comes down to getting these facts, no. The facts matter so much that I would rather just openly say, hey, I'm a news network, but I don't know, okay? I'm talking about a subject I don't know the details about, but facts matter. Now, it's not like Gundam is hard to reach out to. I mean, he's got YouTube, he's got a Twitter. It's not like he's fucking impossible to reach out to. It would have taken maybe 30 seconds to send him a message. To just go onto his Twitter and be like, hey, I just wanted to go ahead and check up since I am Philip DeFranco. I wanted to check since I'm covering the story to see if you lost your sponsor deal or any others. Can you comment on that? I'm pretty sure Gundam would have been completely okay with just saying yes or no. You know, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but you might be like, Optimus, why is this such a big deal? Why do you honestly give a shit? Why is this a problem? Well, the problem behind this is, instead of actually finding out the facts and what is legitimately the problem here, Philip has decided to take a quote-unquote indifferent stance by just saying, oh, I don't know, who gives a fuck, right? Like, I don't really know what happened there. Now, if he actually had those facts, right, if he found out whether or not Gundam did get a sponsorship deal taken from him, that would have either made or broken the story in a lot of different ways. I mean, holy shit, can you imagine how people would have felt if Pokimane was directly responsible for taking a sponsorship deal from a small YouTuber because she didn't like the video he made about her and her viewership? That would have been a topic for discussion for days here on YouTube because we're already going through this situation, right? And Pokimane was one of the first big examples of it recently, where sponsors are kind of being weaponized against people, right? The whole H3H3 and Keemstar thing has brought this even to higher heights, I guess, because Keemstar lost his G Fuel sponsorship, Ethan got terminated by Old Spice, and maybe even more. There's a lot of rumors floating that he's lost other sponsorships. He hasn't directly commented on it yet. So if this was something that ended up, like, I guess, breaking out and we all kind of found out that Pokimane did this and lost this dude money, the fucking hailstorm would have gotten a lot stronger, folks. I mean, it's important, too. This isn't something that doesn't matter. We're talking about people's livelihood at this point that is being messed with in different ways. I mean, just because people don't like what a creator said in a fucking video, it's now possible to have their sponsorships taken from them? Not even, like, morally incorrect either. Just because they said something that a bigger YouTuber disagreed with, now it's possible for sponsorships to disappear. That would have been pretty important to break. But I mean, hey, what's the point in being a news show, right? What's the point in actually figuring out what the hell's going on if you're running a big news show? And this is the kind of thing that kind of pisses me off a lot of the time, because you'll see these kinds of situations where smaller YouTubers essentially just get stepped all over, and then when it comes to actually talking about it, a bunch of bigger YouTubers just simply don't give a fuck. I mean, people only care when it happens to them, and it's kind of insane to me. I mean, obviously, I can't cover every single situation that happens ever. That's just not possible. And there's some situations where I'm just not interested in covering it. But when it comes to something this big, it's almost necessary for people to call this kind of shit out and talk about it, because it's just not right, you know? And my whole thing is if you didn't want to figure out the facts of what was going on before you said it, then don't even cover the fucking subject. If you didn't want to reach out to Gundam and see if what you were saying was either true or false, then don't even make a video about it. Don't even make it a fucking part of your show. Why even attempt to half-ass cover it? It doesn't make sense. It's not like Philip is one guy making his whole damn show and, you know, he's got to make it every day of his life. Just him. Philip has a team of people. You're telling me out of all these people, nobody could have reached out and tried to figure out what was really going on here? And when situations like this happen, people like Pokimane, who, you know, once again took a very direct shot at this guy's sponsor, they get away with this shit. When people don't say anything about it and they don't actually make a point about it, this kind of shit goes under the radar. It's important that big creators speak out about this kind of shit. Sure, small creators are going to say all kinds of stuff about it because it's directly affecting a small creator here. Bigger creators should start to notice like how this could directly be weaponized against them. And, you know, instead of just smaller creators having to talk about it all the time, big creators can actually be like, oh, hey, you know, I do run the Philip DeFranco show. And then they can talk about shit. So at the end of the day, right, like, I don't think Pokimane should have been banned for the whole porn stream. I agree with the warning, you know? I think that that's the best way that every single one of these situations should be handled, where something happened accidentally, you know? I don't think that Pokimane should be banned. Well, you know, here's what I actually could say. If Twitch is gonna make it a priority to ban people for accidental nudity or suspend them, then it should be universal. So in that instance, if Twitch is really that adamant about banning people for these kinds of issues or suspending them depending on what's going on, then it should apply for people like Pokimane too. It's not okay that she just gets a warning and then other people get smacked up for it. And it's not okay that creators like Philip DeFranco, who have a very important voice on YouTube, see these kinds of shit going on, these injustices, and then refuse to even understand what's going on simply so they can, I don't know whether intentionally or not, defend Pokimane by not actually reporting the full story and trying to figure out what's going on behind the scenes. So, with that being said, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below. I'm sure there's a very fucking ripe opinion from pretty much all of you on this subject. I don't know if you agree with me or disagree. Let me know down below, but thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, facts mattering, and signing out.